the light that leads the blind to see. Voice of the word, voice for the good, voice of the whole, voice of the need, voice of the word, TV.
VWTV, ang telebisyon nga may misyon.
Voice of the word, TV.
Growth and Parade, as your OIC convener, I will convene our regular session. So the table is now open for nomination for our temporary presiding officer. Honorable Kenday.
I nominate Honorable Katrina Nakasada to be the
Second the motion.
Honorable
presiding officer.
Katrina Anaka has been nominated and duly seconded. Any other nomination? None? Any objection? None? So, our temporary presiding officer is Dr. Katrina Anaka. Thank you.
Okay, vlog natin.
Good morning, everyone. Our sixth regular session is now called to order. Let us start with opening prayer to be led by Honorable Danny Anaka, and followed by the national anthem and councilors created by Honorable Fritz Poy.
Let us put ourselves in the presence of the Lord and may the following song for this day. Dear Lord, we offer this gathering to you and ask you to bless it with your wisdom and grace. We thank you for this opportunity to be together to learn all love and service of you and of each other. We ask you to enlighten our minds to know what is true and just, and strengthen us willfully that we come to seek as our duty. May all our thoughts, words, and actions be directed to making your name and your love better known among men for the sanctification of the happiness here and eternity. Amen. In the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Consular's Creed. I am a Philippine consular,
I am a Philippine counselor,
mandated by law
mandated by law,
to enact measures and ordinances
to enact measures and ordinances
that redound to the general welfare of my constituent
that redound to the general welfare of my constituents,
in their pursuit for happiness, peace, and prosperity.
and their pursuit for happiness, peace, and prosperity.
I believe in public service above self
I believe in public service above self
as the guiding principle of my official act,
as a guiding principle of my official acts,
and as I tread the pathways of my local legislation.
and as I tread the pathways of local legislation.
May the Almighty guide my mind and heart
May the Almighty guide my mind and heart,
that I shall be true to my constituent and the Filipino people.
that I shall be true to my constituents and the Filipino people.
Mr. Secretary, can you please call the roll?
Honorable Emmanuel T. Songko from Official Travel, Honorable Victor L. Blanco, Official Travel, Honorable Maria Rosendi Dasa,
Present.
Honorable Fritz Bailon D. Uy,
Present.
Honorable Dr. Ana Catrina Anacpasada,
Present.
Honorable J. Anthony B. Ang,
Present.
Honorable Engineer Melchoy Arago,
Present.
Honorable Liza G. Chu,
Present.
Honorable Sergio Gilbert Sismota III, on Travel, Honorable Lyra Jel A. Limbawan,
Present.
Honorable Attorney Kathleen Jane V. Kainday,
Present.
Honorable Renerio B. Ador Sr., Honorable Maylani O. Anacta,
Present.
Mr. Presiding Officer, there are 10 members of the Sangguniang Panlungsod who are present.
As attested by our secretary, we have 10 members present, which constitute the quorum. We may now proceed with our session. Next item, Mr. Secretary.
The next item is the approval of the order of business.
Madam Coordinator.
Honorable Presiding Officer, we have several urgent businesses for inclusion unless objected to by the members of the Sangguniang Panlungsod to be included in our order of business. The first one is a request from Honorable Liza Chu to include under the in our order of business several CSOs to be accredited in the city. The name, Barangay City Evangelical Church, Barangay Sihap Women's Association, Association of Tourist Guide of Kabunga Ganap King Natural Blue, Barangay Campisaw Women Food Processor Association, Pinamulat and Water Impounding Irrigators Association, Senior Citizens Association of Barangay Songko, Barangay Surok Senior Citizens Association, Barangay San Gabriel Women's Association, Barangay Kabalagnan Women's Association, Barangay Kabong Women's Association, Barangay Punta Maria, Kababayanan ha, Borongan City, Barangay Kanhaway Senior Citizen Association, Pilangagan Tourist Bird Association, Barangay Sabang North, Kababayanan ha, Borongan City, Barangay Sabang North Senior Citizen Association, Barangay Women's Association, Women's Association Federated Borongan City, Barangay San Gabriel, Kababayanan ng Borongan City, Caritas Borongan Incorporated, Barangay Balod, Barangay Libuton Women's Association, and Barangay San Jose Women's Association.
And second?
Seconded.
Is there any objection? Hearing none, motion is approved. Any other amendments?
Honorable Presiding Officer, another urgent agenda from our City Mayor to issue, I would like to move for the inclusion of a proposed resolution to authorize the City Mayor to enter into a deed of donation with Ms. Rosita B. Araw and Ulrico G. Alde regarding a lot in Barangay Sobutan, Borongan.
Any second? Any objection? Hearing none, motion is approved. Any other amendment? Okay na.
No more other
Madam Coordinator.
Honorable Presiding Officer, I move for the approval of our order of business as amended.
Any second? Any objection? None, motion is approved. Our order of business for our 6th regular session is approved as amended. Next item, Mr. Secretary.
Next item is the reading and consideration of the minutes of the regular session held on August 5th and August 10, 2020.
Our minutes was emailed to you a few days ago, and I hope you already read the minutes. Are there any amendments? Madam Coordinator.
Honorable Presiding Officer, I would like to move for the amendment of the minutes to indicate during in the attendance of the Sangguniang Panlungsod member that I was on official business.
For what session?
For August 10. Honorable Presiding Officer, for the August 10 session.
Are there any more amendments? Hearing none, Madam Coordinator.
Honorable Presiding Officer, I move for the approval of the minutes of regular session held last August 5 and August 10, respectively.
Any second?
Second.
Objections? None. The minutes of our regular session held on August 5 and August 10 is hereby approved. Next item, Mr. Secretary.
Next item is in the calendar of business, letter A, the status report.
Committee report.
Status report, letter A, Committee on Games, Amusement and Entertainment, on ordinance prescribing rules and guidelines for the establishment, operation and maintenance of cockpit arenas and derby centers, and regulating regular of cockfighting and cock stock derbies in the city of Borongan, dated July 13, 2022.
Honorable J. Anthony Ang.
Thank you, Madam Presiding Officer. A committee meeting had been conducted yesterday on the proposed ordinance prescribing rules and guidelines for the establishment, operation, and maintenance of cockpit arenas. We're planning again to meet this coming week to further furnish and discuss the said draft ordinance. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable next item.
Item number, letter B, under status report, Committee on Health and Sanitation, an ordinance providing for a community-based mental health program, delivery system in Borongan City, and appropriating the necessary funds for July 22, 2022.
Honorable Limbawan, can you please update us with the status of this said or proposed ordinance?
Honorable Presiding Officer, as the Chairman on Social Welfare, we had conducted a successful public hearing last August 12 in the youth evacuation center in Capital, and now we are in the process of consolidating all suggestions and comments from our stakeholders. The committee chairman on health and I are planning to make this ordinance approved on the next session.
Thank you, Madam Limbawan. Next item.
Next item, letter C, under status support, Committee on Social Welfare, an ordinance providing monthly cash aid to eligible persons with disability who are bona fide residents of Borongan City, appropriating funds therefore and for other purposes, July 22nd, 2020.
Honorable Limbawan.
Honorable Presiding Officer, I have provided a committee report for this. And shall I read this to the body? Okay. Committee report, and if it's okay with the body, I can read my committee report now. Okay. So, Committee on Social Welfare and Development, committee report on the proposed ordinance providing monthly monetary allowance to eligible persons with disability in the city of Borongan, appropriating funds therefore. The committee held its meeting last August 2021, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, to discuss the underlying matters of the proposed ordinance. The committee discussed and agreed that rural health physicians should specify in medical certificates the classified disabilities and illnesses with the PWD or patient as according to the type of disabilities defined by the DOH. The committee suggested and agreed to formulate guidelines and criteria for disabilities and illnesses that will determine eligible PWDs for the program. The criteria shall incorporate classifications such as severity of disability or illness, indigency, capacity to work, dependency, and others to be determined. Only those PWDs who will meet the criteria will be eligible for the monetary allowance program. The committee also decided to issue an ID exclusive for eligible PWDs of the program. The ID shall constitute the length of validity that will be specified by the CSWDO. The committee also approved to organize a board for the formulation of implementing rules and regulations. The board shall constitute the following: chairperson, the CSWDO, the vice chairperson, our PDO officer, the members, SP chairman on social welfare and development, city health officer, a representative from the city budget office, representative from the city treasurer's office, representative from the city accounting office, and our Liga ng Barangay president. The board shall also be recommending to the body for the amendments of the IRR and ordinance. The budget officer also suggested that the purpose of the program be stated clearly in the ordinance. And the budget officer also added that the terms and clause unintentional and unjustifiable delay from section 7 be defined and included in the definition of terms. The committee agreed that the program shall have a semi-annual payout. And that the committee recommends that the matter be referred back to the committee for further discussions and finalization of the eligibility clause. With no other matters to discuss, the committee meeting adjourned at around 4:30 in the afternoon.
Thank you, Honorable Ikawan. What was the recommendation again?
To refer back to the committee for further discussions and finalization of the eligibility clause.
Okay, thank you, Honorable Ikawan. Next item.
Next item under status report, letter D, Committee on Education, Amendment of City Ordinance Number 211, an ordinance granting allowance to Borongan and senior high school and college students to wit, A. Additional provision granting the same allowance to Borongan students, learners enrolled under the Alternative Learning System or ALS, July 22nd, 2020.
Since our chairperson on Committee on Education is unofficial travel, anyone who wants from the members who wants to do such. Honorable Aramo.
Thank you, Madam Chair. On behalf of the Committee on Education, which personally is a member, I would like to manifest some points on this ordinance, because we just had a committee meeting few days ago before the travel of the committee chairman, Kagawad Franco. And in the deliberation, there was an opinion from the mayor. In fact, before the committee meeting, we met with Mayor Agdan, committee chairman Franco, and I met with Mayor Agdan. And Mayor Agdan manifested that there are some obscure points, more particularly on the guidelines on how to distribute or how to monitor this activity of the decks. The mayor also informed us that he met with one of the person in charge of this house, and seemingly the mayor was not clarified on his questions. So he told us, Kagawad Franco and I, that if ever possible, you clarify this, call up the attention of some, not only one next personnel, to clarify all what the mayor wants to ask and including, in fact, I was personally, Kagawad Franco wants to draft already the ordinance. But in my case, I was on the side of Mayor Agda to clarify some more points from the expression. So, what ended our deliberation on the Committee of Education was to receive another committee meeting, calling up the concerned personnel of the DEX, and in fact, we will now try our best to invite also the presence of the mayor or the supervisor representative. So, Kagawad Franco will be scheduling another committee meeting in this.
Thank you, Honorable Narabo. Next item.
Next item on the status report, letter E, Committee on Trade, Commerce, and Consumer Protection, Labor and Employment, proposed ordinance, an ordinance strengthening participatory governance in the city of Borongan through empowerment of civil society organizations, establishing a People's Council, prescribing its powers and functions, and providing for their participation in the local bodies and similar work groups. Honorable July 27, 2020.
Honorable President.
Thank you, Madam Presiding Officer. The references of proposed ordinance shall proceed initial committee meeting maybe on last week of this month of August. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Chu. Next item, Mr. Secretary.
Letter F, under status report, Committee on Youth and Sports, proposed Borongan Tomorrow's Youth Ordinance, Youth and Sports Development, Botoy Law, proponent Honorable Scotto, July 27, 2020.
Honorable Lani.
Honorable Presiding Officer, since I will not be around this coming week, August 22 to 26, we will be scheduling our committee meeting on August 29 po, Monday. 10:30. Next day.
Thank you, Honorable Lani. Next item.
Letter G, under status report, Committee on Utility and Communication, proposed underground cabling ordinance, proponent Honorable Scotto, July 27, 2020.
Our chairman, Honorable Scotto, is also on official travel. Any member or vice chairman? None. Okay, next item.
Being again a member of the underground on this Committee on Utilities and Communication, there is a plan, only plan of Kagawad is going to pull up the committee meeting, but he had not scheduled it yet.
Okay, thanks for that. Thank you, Honorable. Next item.
Letter H, under status report, Committee on Agriculture, proposed amendment of Tubok Agricultura, Ordinance number 180, series of 2022 to wit, A, additional provision in the Dakwang Agricultura Ordinance to specifically include private and government employees as eligible borrowers.
Honorable J. Anthony.
Thank you, Madam Presiding Officer. The Committee on Agriculture is planning to meet this coming week to further discuss the amendment, the proposed amendment of the budget. Thank you.
Next item.
Next item, letter I, Committee on Infra, proposed appropriation ordinance, amending the project title from Victor Brits Lighting at Barangay Alang-Alang with project cost of 800,000 pesos to installation of additional 7-unit solar LED lights at Center Island, Bye-Bye Boulevard with the same project cost of 800,000 pesos. August 5, 2022.
Our Chairman on Infrastructure, Honorable
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. After our last session, this was thoroughly discussed already. All other obscure items were cleared, more particularly on the prices of these solar LED lights, and it was clarified by one of the engineers coming from the city engineering office. And all questions were raised and answered by our city engineering office, except one. When we tried to ask him for a certification as to availability of fund coming from the budget office. So by this time, the budget officer issued a certificate of availability of fund there, stating that the amount of 800,000 is available for the toll bridge lighting Barangay Alang. The project was 800,000, and the proposed ordinance is a reversion from that toll bridge into solar LED lights at the center island of Barangay Baybay Boulevard. So I am in hand of certification coming from the city accountant stating that the amount is readily available. So that solves all the questions on this proposed conversion ordinance, except of course if there are other questions coming from the other Sangguniang Panlungsod members. There is none. I would like to propose that this appropriation ordinance be approved so that there will be immediate implementation on this city council.
I think this was already been tackled during our previous session thoroughly, and according to Honorable Arago, ang kulang na lang ang certification, and yan na-furnish na, so maybe we can later, Madam Coordinator, take it out from the table.
Honorable Presiding Officer, I move that the said proposed appropriation ordinance to be included under our new business for second reading.
Seconded. Any objection? Hearing none, the motion is approved. Next item, Mr. Secretary.
Next item is letter A under status report, Committee on Finance, review of the 2022 annual budget of Barangay Sabang South, August 5, 2020.
Madam Coordinator, Chairman of our Committee on Finance.
Honorable Presiding Officer, much as I would like to schedule the meetings for the said review of barangay budgets, however, there are no other vacant schedule this week. So I have scheduled on August 25 a meeting to call upon our barangay office officials and also senior presidents during the review of the said barangay budgets on August 25 afternoon.
Thank you. Next item.
Letter A, Committee on Laws and Committee on Sports, Barangay Ordinance Number 1, Series 2022, Barangay Canlaray, entitled An Ordinance requiring all basketball players of multipurpose building must be aware of all barangay regulations to obey, follow before the players play for this hall.
Honorable
Presiding Officer, I believe I was here when this matter has been referred to our committee. I will still be coordinating with the Chairman Committee on Laws and Rules, Honorable Franco, to which when we will be scheduling the committee meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Ananta. Next item, please.
Next item is committee report that was already read. So we are now under the new business.
Review of barangay budget, second page. Ay, June, sorry.
Okay. Letter A, proposed ordinances. Number 1, to pass and approve an appropriation ordinance to revert the total salary savings for the unfilled vacant position in the office of trustee member Honorable Victor Bangko for the month of July to the general fund and subsequently appropriating the entire sum for legislative services, office of trustee and Victor Bangko, the amount of 54,081 pesos, and to other MOOE in the amount of 18,000 for a total amount of 102,081 pesos.
Madam Coordinator, Honorable Presiding Officer, I move that we include the proposed ordinance under our ordinances for second reading.
Second. Any objection? Hearing none, motion is approved. Next item is
Number 2, under proposed ordinances, proposed ordinance to curtail the sale, rental, transfer, distribution, manufacture, and/or production of pirated, counterfeit, or fake goods, article, or services, and for other purposes.
Madam Coordinator.
Honorable Presiding Officer, this is an urgent agenda from our City Mayor. I move that we refer the matter to the Committee on Trade, Commerce, Industry, and Consumer Protection, Labor and Employment, chaired by Honorable Glycine Chu, for further discussion on the matter.
Any second? Any objection? Hearing none, the motion is approved. Next item.
Under the new business, letter B, proposed resolutions. Number 1, proposed resolution approving the tricycle franchise of 11 applicants. Number 1, Arnold A. Sarong Jr., Barangay Lalawigan, Borongan City. Number 2, Christian R. Anabaa, Barangay Bato, Borongan City. Number 3, Carlene Rhea B. Ador, Barangay Tabok, Borongan City. Number 4, Edward A. Balyete, Barangay Tabok, Borongan City. Number 5, Jose Dancy Oplimo, Barangay Alang-Alang, Borongan City. Number 6, Jason T. Andag, Barangay Suribao, Borongan City. Number 7, Carison C. Silio, Barangay Liputon, Borongan City. Number 8, Norman B. Los Santos, Barangay Balot, Borongan City. Number 9, Randy B. Bahado, Barangay Suribao, Borongan City. Number 10, Leonzo C. Bahado, Barangay Canabong, Borongan City. And number 11, Remedios C. Amida, Barangay San Gregorio, Borongan City.
Madam Coordinator.
Honorable Presiding Officer, this is a proposed resolution from Honorable Arabo, for which they have already discussed the compliance of the said franchisees, and therefore move that we pass and approve this resolution.
Any second? Any objection? Hearing none, the proposed resolution approving the tricycle franchise of 11 applicants is hereby approved. Next item.
Number 2 under the proposed resolutions. Proposed resolution urging the City Engineering Office to conduct an accessibility audit of all public and private buildings and infrastructures to address the need, requirements of persons with disability, PWD, pursuant to Batas Pambansa bilang 344.
Madam Coordinator. Honorable Limbawan, Chairman of the Social Welfare.
Honorable Presiding Officer, as the Chairman of the Social Welfare, it is my duty to look after the welfare of our PWDs. And read my resolution to the body. A resolution urging the City Engineering Office to conduct an accessibility audit of all public and private buildings and infrastructures to address the need requirements of persons with disability pursuant to Batas Pambansa bilang 344. Whereas, the state should not discriminate against persons with disability and it should take concrete steps to create an enabling environment so that persons with disability can enjoy real equality in the society. Whereas, the built environment shall be designed to allow the disabled citizens to participate and contribute to the development goals, and no group of people shall be deprived of full participation and enjoyment of the environment or be made unequal to the rest due to any disability. Whereas it is the mandate of the city to ensure the accessibility of persons with disabilities once they leave the comfort of their homes. Through the City Engineering Department, the government can mandate and has the authority to conduct audit and inspection of places public and private accommodation such as commercial establishments, workspaces, and other facilities with the help and implementation of the barangays. Now therefore, be it resolved by the 6th Sangguniang Panlungsod of Borongan to urge the City Engineering Office to conduct an accessibility audit of all public and private buildings and infrastructures to address the needs requirements of persons with disability pursuant to Batas Pambansa Bilang 344. Resolved further that upon approval of this resolution, the aforementioned department shall be given 45 days to submit accessibility audit to the SP Office and Persons with Disability Affairs Office, and the copies of the resolution be forwarded to the Office of the City Engineering and other respective government offices for appropriate action.
Madam Floor Leader.
Honorable Presiding Officer, may I suggest to our Chairman of the Social Welfare, Honorable Lintawan, to include in her resolution not only the submission of the report or of the result of the accessibility audit, but a report during the nearest Sangguniang Panlungsod session, regular session, of the results of the accessibility audit.
Well noted, Mistake. And I would also like to commend our Chairman on social welfare for doing this resolution. Kay unfortunately, dinihaadan ito natin mga buildings sa Borongan. They're nag-comply itong accessibility law for our PWs. Any other suggestions, comments?
Madam Floor Leader. Honorable Presiding Officer, I would like to move for the approval of the said proposed resolution to conduct for the conduct of an accessibility audit by the City Engineering Office.
Second the motion.
Any objection? Hearing none, the resolution urging the City Engineering Office to conduct an accessibility audit of all public and private building and infrastructures to address the need requirements of PWD pursuant to Batas Pambansa Bilang 344 is hereby approved. Next item, Mr. Secretary.
Next item is item number 3 under the proposed resolutions. Proposed resolution authorizing the City Mayor of Borongan, Honorable Jose Ivan Dayan CFDA, to enter into memorandum of agreement MOA with Provincial Governor Honorable Ben P. Baldoni, Chairman of the Provincial Health Board, for an inter-LGU cooperation on health services.
Madam Floor Leader.
Honorable Presiding Officer, we have received this resolution which will be beneficial to the city. Taking into consideration that the responsibility of the city is for the formulation, implementation of a city health plan, implementation of programs and projects of the integrated health plan, implementation of the regulatory measures to be formulated for the board, management and finance of health offices, promotion and coordination of health-related sectors, improvement and maintenance of road network to facilitate access and referral to and from the health offices to the hospitals. This will be very beneficial to the city, and therefore move that we pass and approve this resolution authorizing Mayor Dayan to enter into a MOA with Governor Ben Baldoni.
Second then.
Are there any objections? Hearing none, the proposed resolution authorizing the City Mayor of Borongan, Honorable Jidga, to enter into memorandum of agreement with Provincial Governor Honorable Ben P. Baldoni, Chairman of the Provincial Health Board, for an inter-LGU cooperation on health services is hereby approved. Next item, Mr. Secretary.
Number 4 under the proposed resolutions. Proposed resolution respectfully requesting the Honorable Maria P. R. Abunda, Congressman for the Long District this summer, to file a bill declaring June 21st of every year as a special non-working holiday for the city of Borongan.
Honorable Presiding Officer, this resolution was requested by the executive to the Sangguniang Panlungsod to respectfully request our Honorable Congresswoman Maria P. Abunda of the Lone District of Eastern Samar to file a bill declaring the Charter Day of Borongan City as a special non-working holiday in the city of Borongan, as the conversion of Borongan City from municipality to a city has been advantages to us, not only in the sudden increase of our internal revenue allotment, but also placing us as a good tourism, sports, and business hub in Eastern Samar.
Any second?
Second the motion.
Any objection? Hearing none, the resolution respectfully requesting the Honorable Maria K.R. Abunda, Congressman of the Lone District of Eastern Samar, to file a bill declaring June 20 as our Charter Day every year as a special non-working holiday for the city of Borongan is hereby approved. Next item, Mr. Secretary.
Number 5, under the proposed resolutions, pass and approve a resolution authorizing the city mayor, Jose Ivan Siagda, to enter into a memorandum of understanding with the Catholic Relief Services, United States Conference of Catholic Bishops, a non-profit corporation organized under the laws of the District of Columbia, United States of America, and registered under the laws of the Republic of the Philippines, and acting through its office at the second floor CPCB Building, 170 General Luna Street in Camoes, Manila, represented by its country representative, Sandra Reitman.
Madam Coordinator.
Honorable Presiding Officer, this memorandum of understanding is due to the fact that Borongan City is experiencing the effects of climate change. Climate change marked by the increasing frequency of seawater intrusion to our low-lying agricultural lands, heavy rains, and storm surges. The Catholic Relief Services, along with the consortium members, will implement a multi-year USAID-funded climate resilience cities project in Borongan City that will aim to improve the resilience of the city in strengthening the capacity to adapt, mitigate, and manage the impacts of climate change and disasters. The role of the city is to commit a staff for the implementation of the CRS activities, designate a representative, allocate a working space for CRC, form and work with CRC, lead the coordination of the city-level interagency team and stakeholders, ensure agreed activities relevant to the project, share relevant documents and information, support and mobilize network, and to uphold and protect the best interests of children and other vulnerable groups. I therefore move, Honorable Presiding Officer, since this will be beneficial to the city, that we pass and approve this resolution authorizing Mayor Dayan to enter into a memorandum of understanding with the Catholic Relief Services.
Any second to the motion?
Second.
Any objection? Hearing none, the proposed resolution is hereby approved. Next item, Mr. Secretary.
Number 6, under the proposed resolutions, to pass and approve a resolution authorizing the city mayor, Jose Ivan Siagda, to enter into a use-of-track agreement with Mr. Daniel Catalo.
Honorable.
The LGU shall utilize the subject land for the construction and operation of a satellite office and nursery in Barangay Bugas with Mr. Catalo's consent for a 25-year use-of-track free of charge. For your reference, review attached are the following documents. Memorandum of Understanding between LGU Borongan, and Mr. Daniel.
Honorable Madam Coordinator.
Honorable Presiding Officer, this is a very generous act of Kagawad Daniel Catalo, Barangay Bugas, to give or allow the use by the city for the construction operation of the city agricultural satellite office and nursery in Barangay Bugas, only in consideration of public service. I therefore move that we pass and approve this proposed resolution to authorize City Mayor Dayan Agda to enter into this use-of-track agreement with Kagawad Daniel Catalo.
Any second? Any objection? Hearing none, the resolution is hereby approved. Next item, Mr. Secretary.
Next item, under the new business letter C, review the
Ang dagdag sa namin.
addendum to the proposed ordinance resolution, request of Honorable Glass Chu for the accreditation of 21 civil society organizations.
Honorable Presiding Officer, I move that we refer the matter to the Committee on Trade, Commerce, Industry, Consumer Protection, Labor and Employment, chaired by Honorable Liza Chu, for further discussion of the matter.
Second motion.
Any objection? The motion is approved. Next item.
Next item is on the proposed resolution to provide
Authorize me.
The donation.
to pass an approval resolution authorizing the city mayor si Evangelos Ganda to enter a
With the
deed
donation.
of donation with Ms. Araw and Mr. Alde.
Madam Coordinator.
Honorable Presiding Officer, this contract between the City of Borongan and Ms. Rosita Araw is again a generous act of Ms. Rosita Araw, wherein she is giving to the City of Borongan a piece of her agricultural land. Although in the agenda it does not state for what purpose, but this generosity is welcome and accepted by the LGU. I therefore move that we pass and approve this resolution authorizing City Mayor Diane Anda to enter into a deed of donation with Ms. Rosita B. Araw.
Any second to the motion? Any objection? Hearing none, the resolution is hereby approved.
Honorable Presiding Officer,
Madam Coordinator.
there is also another deed of donation to be entered into by City Mayor Diane Anda. Also a generous act from Mr. Olrico J. Alde of Barangay Campisao, again donating a parcel of an agricultural land to the city, which will be beneficial and accepted by the city. I therefore move that we pass and approve this resolution, allowing Honorable City Mayor Diane Anda to enter into a deed of donation with Mr. Olrico G. Alde.
Just a point of clarification, Madam Chair.
Honorable Arago.
For what executive agenda on the donation to blood, is it stated for what purpose is the donation? For the two donations? Hopefully it should be stated. For what purpose is the donation?
Honorable Presiding Officer, I share the concern of Honorable Arago, but we can probably ask city engineering for what purpose this is, but there is no obligation by the city but to accept the generosity, and there is no financial obligation, but the purpose could just be good to know for what purpose this donation is for the city, since there is no other consideration.
Yeah, as we should, I think we have the function also, oversight function, to know for what purpose of this. It should be stated in the date of in the resolution. Hopefully, we can consult the way of what purposes are this donation.
Honorable Arago, is there an objection to the motion of Honorable Menday?
Well, I'm not against the approval of the resolution. In fact, it's a very valuable point. But then, it should be like the use of rock of gas. That there is a donation. The purpose of the donation is stated. That's only what I mean. There is a transaction that should be open kung ano ba itong gagamitan, at least people involved should know.
I think Honorable Arago's opinion is sound. What is the...
It should be stated in the resolution. Kung ano itong gagamitan.
1 minute recess. Session na siya. Okay, so Honorable Arago is not objecting to the motion, then the resolution is hereby approved. Next item.
Next item under the new business, letter C, on the view of the 2022 Barangay Annual Budget of Barangay Sangguniang.
Honorable Madam Coordinator.
Honorable Presiding Officer, I move that we refer the matter to my committee, Committee on Finance, for further discussion of the matter.
Any second? Any objection? Hearing none, the motion is approved. Next item, Mr. Secretary.
Next item under the business for the day for second reading. The proposed ordinance to pass and approve na
New business appropriation ordinance. New business A.
Appropriation ordinance.
Tanong ko Kuya.
Pass and approve an operation ordinance to revert the total salary savings for the unfilled vacant position in the office of the SP member Honorable Victor L. Franco for the month of July to the general fund and subsequently appropriating the entire sum for legislative services office of SP Victor L. Franco in the amount of 54,081 pesos, other MOE at 18,000 pesos for a total amount of 102,081 pesos.
Madam Terminal.
Honorable Presiding Officer, it has been our practice that upon reversion of such amounts that we give a certificate of availability of fund. Honorable Franco, because of probably of his official business, has not submitted. But I think that it is but proper, since it is the budget of his office, that we pass and approve this appropriation ordinance upon submission of the certificate of availability of fund on second reading.
Any second? Any objection? None. Hearing none, the motion is approved. Madam Coordinator.
Honorable Presiding Officer, I move that we include the matter under our ordinances for third reading.
Any objection? Hearing none, the motion is approved. Next item.
Third reading.
Next item is third reading. Item is to pass and approve an appropriation ordinance to revert the total salary savings for the unfilled vacant position in the office of the SP member Honorable Victor L. Franco for the month of July to the general fund and subsequently appropriating the entire sum for legislative services office of SP Victor L. Franco in the amount of 54,081 pesos and other MOE at 48,000 for a total amount of 102,081 pesos.
Next item.
Announcement.
Next item.
Announcement.
Other matters? No other matters. Announcement?
Honorable Dana, do you have any announcement?
Just a reminder from Sir Abed. We have lacking committee members on Committee on Culture, Disaster, Education, Market. Because we only have 4 committee members, so kulang na siya. Who are willing to be a member of each committee, then please raise your hand.
Honorable Presiding Officer, I have volunteered to be a member on the Committee on Culture.
Ano pa di ba yung committee?
Disaster, Education, and Market. Anyone interested in joining the committees on Disaster, Education, and Market? Kaulangan kasi odd number for votation.
Sure, pwede disaster.
Disaster, Honorable Gaza.
Yes.
This is Honorable Das is already a member of the disaster. Okay, I will read the members para for the disaster, for the Committee on Disaster Management. The chairman is Honorable Uy, the vice chairman is Honorable Ang, and the members are Honorable Hermino and Honorable Das.
I think Gino is going to agree yesterday to join the meeting.
For the Education Committee, Honorable Franco, Honorable Arago, Honorable Hermino, and Honorable Uy.
Honorable Chu, are you interested in joining? No? Education? Sige, I volunteer myself. No, education.
Okay, and for the market, Honorable Uy, Honorable Ang, Honorable Arago, Honorable Kainga.
I think also J. Soto also agreed.
Are you sure?
Yes, yesterday.
Panday? Yes. Okay, sige. Okay na? May dat pa?
And another thing is about the definition of the committee mandates. Clarify lang kayo mga committees natin.
Can we do this after session?
Yes.
Pag-remind na po, deadline na natin para makakuha na natin ang final. And we have it before on September 1st.
Next item.
Okay, noted on that. Please take note on your assignments. Honorable Ador.
Yes, thank you. Honorable Presiding Officer, I just want to remind the Secretariat regarding my request that Engineer Tandaan be present in this session. I now move that he should be present by the next session. It should be reminded by the Secretariat. Thank you.
Yes, I remember Kanpuna nag-requested ni Honorable Ador. Please take note, our Secretary, that Engineer Joseph Lagdaan be present in our next regular session. Thank you, Honorable Ador. Next item.
Next item is adjournment.
Honorable
I've been thinking also that we had in the meantime time planning committee to create the committee on oversight committee. Oversight committee. I think we don't have an oversight committee.
Let's lose and
We are doing it oversight as a whole. Kasi napopokus na rin isang kunsyal at oversight. There should be committee oversight. So, whatever their these opinions will be submitted to the Sangguniang Panlungsod, to the council as a whole. It is a very important committee.
Okay.
In fact, Congreso, that is a very one committee pa. Oversight committee, whoever will be choosing as chairman and other members. That is the plan which I want to, everybody will agree, or majority will agree. I have to submit to the plenary. So,
It's noted on that, Honorable Ador.
committee on
We
oversight.
will discuss about it in our committee meetings. Any adjournment? Madam Floor Leader?
Honorable Presiding Officer, I move for the adjournment of our 6th regular session.
And second? Second. Any objection? Hearing none, our 6th regular session is hereby adjourned.